I'll call this meeting of the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors to order. Roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Hall. Leyland. Little.
Here.
Jelka.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here. Please join us in a moment of silence to reflect on today's actions. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll first entertain a motion on the agenda as received or amended.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Next, we'll move on to public comments. If there's anybody in the room that wishes to address the board, please come to the podium, state your name and address.
Yes, Aaron Stacy Roberts, 411 Alma Street, Waterloo, Iowa. I had met with Sheriff Tony Thompson, I want to say probably about 3 weeks ago, about threatening text messages I was getting. I gave him the phone number as well as the Waterloo Police. During the conversation, this came up, which is a composite drawing of a guy who committed a sexual assault on my daughter. He went on his computer and looked at it because another guy had told me the person's name was Tedesco, supposed to have been a policeman. When he looked it up, him as well as another person had told me it was a Charles Tedesco. He said it matched the description. I went before the city council, told them the information that I had got in doing my own investigation. When the police officer contacted Tony Thompson, he said he never even seen this. And this took place in his office. And that's just a bald-faced lie. And I don't know why law enforcement would do that. So I'm at an awe at what's going on here with our safety heads. There's lies being told when in fact he looked at this in his office and then told the policeman as if I'm making this up. I had a meeting in his office about my concerns on getting threatening text messages. Before it's over, he's telling a lie on me and what he told me. We need to get someone to investigate my concerns that I've been coming down here about. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anybody else in the room or online that wishes to address the board at this time? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to claims and payments. This is a resolution of the Board of Supervisors approve expenditures of the county auditor be authorized and directed to issue checks against various settlements of such claims as allowed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Michelle?
Good morning, Board. Our total bill payment today will be $336,000, $495.64. Sorry, 336,495.64. Of that, $20,974.48 will be paid from the Sheriff's 6040 fund, and that does include the annual payment for PACE system software, their scheduling software, but we're actually paying 2 years at once because it was a cheaper price. So that looks high, but it is for 2 years. Everything appears to be in order today. I'm very excited to say, we are going to make a payment for Conservation's Turtle Top van. You may remember that was one of the first things that I think was ordered, and it is to be delivered this week. So that payment is $118,683.
Excellent.
Any other questions?
Any questions, board? All right. Hearing none, this is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called. Roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Little.
Yes.
Jelka.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes. Resolution is approved. Next, we will receive project updates from department heads and elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, engineer. Just briefly, our mortar graders are out and they are starting the work of pulling in the shoulders on the gravel roads, and that's, I've told you before, but I'll remind you again, that is where that edge, that usually a lip, develops between the gravel portion of the roadway and the grass portion of the roadway, the shoulder, we call it. We're trying to level that out so that water will run off the gravel road into the ditch. So that process is starting. It's usually done on one side of the gravel road and then the other side the following year, for example. That does take several months to get all the roads in that district done, so we are starting that, and the road can look pretty ugly for a while because there's a lot of grass that's brought onto the surface of the gravel. So I just wanted to put that information out there. Our bridge crew is pouring the fourth slab, or the last slab, for our big Woods Road bridge replacement project. That's also on a gravel road. I don't know yet at this time when the demolition will begin to remove the old bridge, but I'll let you know that. And then work is also going well on our Cedar Wapsie Road Bridge rehabilitation there between Elk Run Road and Crane Creek. That's going well. Last evening, I attended the Farm Bureau, their board meeting, and I presented information about the upcoming construction projects for the season, as well as information about the condition of our bridges here in Black Hawk County, the all systems permit, and then a few other topics such as roadside management, and then funding for bridges. Can I answer any questions at this time?
Oh, thank you. All right, any other department heads or elected officials wish to provide an update at this time?
This is Michelle Wiedner. I'll just throw out Mike Hendrickson from Conservation and I both also attended the Farm Bureau meeting. He talked briefly about some of the projects that Conservation is doing, and I presented some information about the draft budget. I think that we had good questions from those in attendance for all three of us. So it's a good evening.
All right, any other department heads?
Good morning, Board. It's Yolando Lovelace, Black Hawk County Director of Veterans Affairs. Just wanted to give you just a quick update on a couple of things that we shared with our commission going into our 8th month of the year. And if I have a few minutes, I can just share that. Hopefully you can see my screen. Can you, sir?
Yes.
All right, so good morning. And again, so our a couple of slides that I've shared with you guys, and also with our, there we go. So a couple of things that I wanted to share was that, with this month, March being a Women's History Month, but in particular, I just wanted to show you that in the 7th month so far, we have some statistical data that I want to share, but from last year, we assisted 131 female veterans. Of that 131 female veterans, there was 21 of them that were new. It was 15 of them that were from outside of Black Hawk County, and our goal is to increase those numbers going forth by promoting more outreach in order to grasp that demographic group of veterans in that standpoint. We have our spring training coming up next month, but again, our congressional staff is doing great things for veterans, and there's a new PACT Act health care eligibility extension from the PACT Act, and here's some talking points. You have those slides. We'll get more in depth next month when we go down to Des Moines for our semi-annual training. But with this is, in a short, was any veteran that was in any type of exposure environment, whether stateside or overseas, they're now eligible to enroll in VA healthcare and get healthcare, not to the point of compensation, but to get healthcare in that standpoint. But again, we'll learn more about that. But that should help a lot of our other veterans who normally wouldn't have qualified based off of before the PACT Act are now eligible to enroll in VA healthcare. And they're doing some great things here at our outpatient clinic here in Waterloo. There's now optometry out there. There's no audiology out there, physical therapy out there. So there are a lot of great things that veterans had to do to travel all the way to Iowa City to get those services are now localized here in Waterloo, and they have more room to grow. And then our biggest thing as we move into the summer months is our biggest thing in conjunction with Gabby, she's been doing some great things for us, is helping us promote our Veterans Appreciation Lunch. This is our 3rd year doing this in the month of March. Like kicks off our summer and shows appreciation throughout the winter months. And we look forward to doing that here on March 21st here at the Pinecrest Building up in the chapel based off the weather. And then a couple of things that we did in February. One is the Valentine's for Veterans, where we went to some of the assisted living and independent living and gave out, it was 87 Valentine gifts out there for a total price of $867 in total cost to do that. Our staff was very appreciative to help these veterans that are in these different residents. And as you can see, the smiles on the face of those residents and those surviving spouses who got those gifts. So again, our heart goes out to those in those facilities, and we don't want to ever forget them. And that's one of our ways of doing that as we look at other proactive ways to do things special for veterans that are residing in nursing homes and assisted living. And a couple other things, there's Rotary Club is putting on a Veterans Appreciation Lunch or dinner down at the American Legion Post 138. That's on March 27th. March is a very busy month in that standpoint. Also, we'll be participating in UNI's Suicide Prevention and PTSD Conference. Our office will table a chair there to address any questions or concerns in that standpoint. And that's going to be a big kickoff for as we move into the summer months, also dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, dealing with suicides, not just from a veteran standpoint, but for also for the entire county and city. The 8-ball and dart tournament, the fundraiser. Was there a question?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. There's a fundraiser that's also going on March 23rd at the UAW Hall. And I just wanted to move into a couple other things. But one of the things that we are starting to identify as another demographic is how well we're doing with compensation and pension claims associated with the veteran or the surviving spouse submitting them, and then what the VA pays back in retro pay. And for the month of February, it totaled up to $63,000 in retro pay out of those 12 claims that was submitted. And in the previous month, it was $97,000. So our staff are doing well with getting those claims out. But how does retro pay interact is it takes right now, it takes about 5 months from the time that we file a claim till they get a decision. And then the retro pay is all of the pay that, because it goes back to the date of the file of the claim. So the retro pay covers that gap where how long it took the VA to approve or disapprove of that claim. And so I just wanted to share those numbers there. With our revenue, again, our office doesn't have anything where we generate revenue. Our revenue is always generated from the kindness that we do out in town for our veterans. And you can see we took in $928.35 and just donations from the general public. Then our general services to veterans, you can see in the 7 months that we've been this year, where we're at. The things in blue are what changed from previous month. Things in black, that there was no change in that standpoint. And we continue to be good consumers of the county and the county's funds. Let me put it that way, in that standpoint. Then lastly, we look at how we're helping veterans. And this is a new slide that we're going to go through in 2024 and kind of identify when we utilize the funds from the county or from donations, what are we doing it for? And we just want to start identifying that, making that more public to the Board of Supervisors and to the public itself. And you can see we've spent $143 48 cents to help a veteran with a utility. We did have a stranded veteran last month, so we helped with transportation and hotel fees, and then the 11 ride bus tickets to allow a veteran to seek employment in that standpoint. And then lastly, just a couple of numbers that I'd like to share for the 7-month total. Number of initial visitors for veterans up through February was 1,112. So that's 1,112 veterans that came in our doors. Of that, new veterans, we've seen 213 in the 7-month time frame. Walk-ins, we've seen 529 walk-ins. We've provided 159 van rides, allowing veterans to get to and from their medical appointments. 2 things of concern is out of that 1,100 veterans that we've seen in the 7 months, only 15 of them was associated with a World War II veteran, and only 45 was associated with a Korea War veteran. Again, that population is dwindling, and I just want to identify that population. And then lastly, out of all those numbers, 1,112 veterans, 118 of them were from outside of Black Hawk County. So we continue to help the other counties in that standpoint, but it is an honor to help any veteran that comes in our door. Standing by to address any questions or concerns.
Thank you, Yolanda, for the excellent report. All right. Any other department heads wish to provide an update this morning? All right, hearing none, we will move on to the minutes approved from March 5th and March 11th.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Next, we'll move on to the consent agenda. This will be approved with a single resolution, unless there's anything anybody wishes to pull out to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Jelka,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes, resolution is approved. Next, we'll move on to contracts and agreements. Item A, this is a resolution of the contract amendment between Blackhawk County and Juvenile Court Services, First Judicial District of Iowa, or JCSIJB, for the purpose of enabling the county to continue to provide fiscal agent services for intensive community support funds effective July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. Be approved and direct the chair to sign for the same as recommended by Michelle Wiedner, Finance Director.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Little,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes. Resolution is approved. Next, item B, this is the resolution of the data usage agreement between Blackhawk County and Intercog for the use of geographic information systems mapping be approved as recommended by Al Yu, Information Technology Director.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions?
Good morning, Board. Al Yu, IT Director. The city of Cedar Falls and Waterloo do a really good job of providing their GIS data to us, but some of the smaller cities don't have their own dedicated staff, so the kind folks at Intercog have this data that they've already curated, and this agreement just allows us to publish that data to sort of fill in the gaps for our accurate data. Any other questions?
Any other questions, Board? All right. Hearing none, resolution, roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Jelka,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes, resolution is approved. Next is a resolution. We'll move on to other business. This is a resolution the request for the purchase of capital equipment submitted by Roy Giving, Facilities Director, be approved and direct chair to sign for the same. Purchase one Gravely Pro Stance mower for $8,604 from the Sled Shed, Waterloo, Iowa.
So moved.
Is this under the current FY24, Rory?
Good morning, Rory Giving, Facilities Director. Yes, it is. We actually had $15,000 budgeted under this year's budget. We received 6 quotes. After reviewing those, this one is the best and lowest bid. So my recommendation is that we purchase this.
Second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please, Mr. Veeder.
Little,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes, resolution is approved. Next is a motion that the position requisition for Systems Administrator full-time in the Information Technology Department be approved as recommended by LU Information Technology Director.
So moved.
Al, this is FY 25 hiring?
Hi, Tom. So we previously approved this position for FY '25. I'm asking for the position to be filled for the remainder of FY '24. This was a vacancy from the sheriff's office, and this was from a staff that retired. And then the position was agreed to come over to the IT department, and then it's kind of been vacant this entire time.
Is there funding, Al, left before the FY 25 budget?
Well, I don't know if Michelle wants to speak to that. It's a little tricky because it wasn't a kind of a lateral move because the previous role was paid out of a different funding source.
So Supervisor Little, this position was the one that was being funded out of the 60/40 fund, but the 60/40 fund, we were having to use a considerable amount of that project fund balance in order to pay those expenses for this year. So leaving it vacant has certainly reduced some of that use of fund balance for fiscal '24, and we did technically put it in the 60/40 fund for '24, just knowing we were going to absorb most of the fund balance with it.
So how would we cover this, Michelle, with what?
Well, I am assuming that you would want to go ahead and budget it out of the 60/40 fund, and we'll use up some of that project balance. I don't know how long it will take them to fill it now, but it's already mid-March, so there won't be too much expense, I don't anticipate yet this fiscal year, but I just don't know how long the process is.
So you're probably looking at 3 months it'll be coming out of that 60/40 fund.
It could be. But we have saved the previous probably 6 months. So we have reduced those expenses by half a year anyway.
Well, I agree with it if it's going to come out of that fund till FY 25 starts.
All right, is that a second?
Yeah, I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or questions? This is motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to item C. This is discussion, possible board action on the Allen Child Protection Center. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Hi, so my name is Danica Haas, and I'm here representing the Allen Child Protection Center. So last year we partnered with the courthouse by displaying pinwheels, and so pinwheels are used during the month of April to display child abuse prevention. It's coined Pinwheels for Prevention. So we are just requesting to do that again this year. So last year, if you saw the display, it was kind of spread out. Part of that reasoning was because it was requested that we didn't put any of the pinwheels into the grass. And so we had to get creative with where we could put them. And so this year we would like to probably keep them more just lined along the sidewalk rather than putting them in the flower beds. And then we also are ordering larger signs this year that we would put with it. So it's a little bit more visible as far as what exactly it is and what it stands for.
All right, it sounds good to me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you bringing this to Blackhawk County to participate again.
Of course, we appreciate it.
All right, is there anybody that'd like to offer a motion?
I'll offer a motion.
Second it.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. This is Allen Child Protection Center to display pinwheels on the courthouse grounds during the month of April for Child Abuse Prevention Month. Any further discussion or questions?
I just would suggest that they work with Rory on the various locations.
Okay. All right.
We can do that. Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? The motion carries. Next is item 9, any reports or information from the board? All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?